back from my trip out west. Here I am, and you can probably guess, I'm in the chalkboard. I'm on the chalkboard, but it's really the copyright hawkboard, or whatever you want to call it. It's part of a new studio endeavor where we'll talk about things like the hawk wheel, or something I just came up with, the hawk logo. And you could say it's copyright hawk or chalk or whatever. And we'll also take a look at other things we have in this studio. Everything you've seen here has been in previous episodes with very few exceptions. It's a painting I did. Here's another one I did in the studio. Here's yet a third one, and we're going to actually fix this. There's a lot of things wrong with all of these paintings that you see as I kind of pan back. There's kind of issues with each of them. These are both oil, and I did them some time ago. This one's really missing some rocks. And this one, I don't like the color of the water. It kind of looks like a volcano, actually, the way that kind of comes out with the clouds kind of coming to the point. And really, that blue should be more reflected in here to my taste. They differ too much. And here could have really benefited from some rocks. But lastly here, this one is fine. This is acrylic. It will dry fast, but this isn't believable at all. I mean, it's just terrible the way that comes down, and I think on an episode I might try to fix that, but I do rather like these rocks here, and I kind of like this tree. So kind of a cool little thing. And then another thing here, look, in the new primary hawk research lab, we'll have a studio, and you know, look, it's one of those piano things that you know, I don't know how to play, and I won't bore you with any playing. I do have a piano level 1 book, but we'll tuck that behind the painting. But we'll kind of move on because I want to show you other things in this studio, and we'll kind of take a trip down memory lane. A year ago, I did an episode about visiting the doctor, and I brought out this head as way of an example for this. And this is my brain, and you can see if you're clever here, Payday, Payday, written on my brain, and here is one with it blown up and outlined so you can see it. Remarkable that happened to me, and I'm still haven't heard from the Payday people here, but if they'd like to give me a call, I can vouch for the validity of this being accurate, and I'd be happy to have one done for the good folks at Payday. So another thing that I did this year, I reviewed these headphones, which I kind of like. I also did the Hawk Lab, and I came up with this slime, which was great fun, and I saved the slime. Then Mount Evans high altitude Cheetos. Here they are back at regular altitude. Remember, they were up here on top of a mountain, and they blew up like a balloon. This is the same bag back at regular about 600 feet above sea level, and they're normal again. I've got selfie stick video mount 1.0, 2.0 here in the lab, and in the primary hawk research laboratory. And then I've got the Eiger. I've brought them in from the cold and into their own area. So these are kind of some of our memories here for the last year. And the lighting isn't very good here. I apologize for that, but I'm kind of building some things. Here's another painting I did, which I won't go into too much, except it's out of scale. It's got many problems, but I painted it all with a knife. I didn't use a brush. I just used a knife, and it's kind of cartoonish, but I really like horse racing, so I did it, and it's got a lot of problems, but we're going to leave that alone. And then here, I kind of moved my, well, I didn't kind of move it, I totally moved this cheap, crappy pool table, which isn't even really a pool table. It makes a better table tennis table. But I've added a few things to this that we might talk about, and things when I'm in the primary research studios here for my primary Hawk Lab. These things are on the table to talk about. Now, this is a cheap air compressor. There's a great story about it. You'll see it's been crushed. This air compressor saved the Hawk from being demolished in my garage, and I will do an episode about that. Virtual reality, that's on the table to talk about. That's kind of something I'm already doing with you in kind of a poor man's way, since you only see through my eyes. What I'm doing is kind of virtual reality, so the concept of this is on the table. I got these for $17 at Aldi, but they're pretty fun. Of course, you can't have a ping pong table and pedals. That's always on the table. And then this thing is kind of cool too. It's a pretty cool model I got in, at the Indy 500 years ago. I kind of like to incorporate things like that. If nothing more, to take this apart and look at the aerodynamics of it, because it reminded me of a stunt, this did, and I'm incorporating a stunt from something like this into something with the Hawk. And now I'll pan around. You can see I've got a recliner, some quilts. We'll talk about some kind of formula art, and then the lamp, and then one final treat as we wrap around the research studio is the Hawk Light. What's in the Hawk Light this week? It's Hawk Force 1, and that will go right into the first lesson at the Hawk board, or the chalkboard. And that is this. I have an idea to jump Hawk Force 1. Now, this would be a pothole in my driveway that I would kind of set this up. I already have the potholes pre-drilled, and you can see that's kind of the dimensions of Hawk Force. But why would I do such a thing? Because I ordered this. And that is a $39 Mavic Air drone, or as I'm currently calling, Scam Force 1. I fully don't expect to receive this drone for this price, but I ordered it off of a Facebook ad, and if it comes, I'm definitely going to do this stunt. And if it doesn't come in the mail, I will still do this stunt after I break Hawk Force, because frankly, guys, Hawk Force 1 was not ready for prime time, so you can see I've been figuring out a way to jump it. And you normally wouldn't use this as a stunt bike, but we're going to use the power of the Hawk and the power of geometry to figure out how to jump 4 inches using Hawk power. Hawk power, where you'll jump right over it and land here. This could potentially be the world record helicopter jump that's the smallest. There might never have ever been a lower elevation jump of a helicopter than this. And it's also seldom that you can do something on a chalkboard that's a stunt involving jumping a helicopter and doing it full size, which I have here. So we're going to work out this math. We're going to work out all sorts of other things on the chalkboard, the Hawkboard, the copyright Hawk, or chalk if you prefer. We'll find out, will the cheap Scam Force 1 ever show up from that Facebook ad? Lots of things to discover. Wanted to give you a quick look around the studio, the new Hawk Studio and Expo Center. See you down the road, guys.